We're not a serious country, man. We are a deeply unserious nation. Life is burger. His name is Matthew Hamburger. Life is burger, life is gun. Gun and burger, gun burger. Matthew Life is Burger arrives at Trump Tower. The man suspected of being behind the Tesla Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas was a big supporter of Donald Trump and voted for him in November. Dude, I don't know what is going on in the United States of America. This in and of itself reads very weird. It reads very strange. I don't know if it's a psyop or if people are just unwell. Maybe an accident. Like the ISIS one makes kind of sense from a psyop angle. It's like instilling fear about if I'm the government and I want to manufacture consent and instill fear in the heart of Americans, I would probably not hit an ISIS angle. I would hit a Hamas angle. I would be like, oh, this guy was a supporter of Hamas, or this guy was a supporter of like Iran or something. You know what I mean? Or he's a Chinese supporter. He's a supporter of the CCP or something. His wife was an anti-Trump person in 2016. Wait, are you talking about NOLA guy or Las Vegas? If this guy has a wife and also is a divorced dad, I'm going to lose my mind. FBI are in Colorado Springs investigating a lead into the Cybertruck explosion. Dude, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand what is going on. Like even Matthew Thomas Crooks being a registered Republican and then shooting at Donald Trump because he was like, I'll kill any president that comes into my neighborhood. I don't even care. Like looking at his background, looking at his profile, looking at his like political ideology and trying to figure out what was going on, it just kind of reads as a guy who was a loser and wanted glory for himself and thought, if I shoot at any president that comes into Pennsylvania, into my quiet suburb, I'll get it. Instead of doing a mass shooting, I'm just going to do this instead. Albeit crazy for any other country, makes a lot of sense for America because gun violence is a constant part of our lives. But then you have NATO guy Ryan Ruth, who is also a former Trump voter, who bricked his brain and also was spending a lot of time, it seems, around Fort Bragg, partially because he had 1,000 combat-ready Afghan troops that were NATO trained, ready to operate in Ukraine. That was his thing. Ukraine was his big thing. He was a Ukraine guy. Now you have two other vets that have also spent time at Fort Bragg. Two other vets in two separate parts of the country. One active duty service member, one veteran. Both spent time at Fort Bragg. Both went to Afghanistan. Don't know if the other vet was also a Trump voter, but like they both use Turo to rent cars. They're both electric vehicles. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's weird.
Our subject is 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger. He's of Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that his name is Life is Burger, okay? This is like, I'm done. I can't even. Dude, come on. Life is burger? Life is burger, life is gun? Gun and burger, gun burger? Is this a joke? Are you joking? We're not a serious country, man. We are a deeply unserious nation. His name is Matthew Hamburger.
Now, I would like to acknowledge a couple of things because I know what's going on in the social media world, and there are a number of things in this case that are similar to the attack in New Orleans. We do know that our subject here served in the military. In fact, he's a current member of the military. Both of the subjects served at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. What we do.
Dude, this is going to break people. I mean, it's breaking me, so I get it. It's even breaking my brain. It makes no damn sense, bro. I mean, it's just so close to one another at the same time. Like, it's just, I'm sure it's pure happenstance. There are so many like similarities. Like, these people have like crossed paths in the past as well.
Do know about that is it's a very large military.
It's not. I'm not saying it's connected to one another. For the record, I'm not saying that.
Military base, and we have no record that they served in the same unit or even at the same years at Fort Bragg. Something that continues to remain under investigation. I also know that they both served in Afghanistan in 2009. We don't have any evidence that they were in the same province in Afghanistan, the same location, or the same unit. Again, something else that remains under investigation. And we also know, of course, that they both used the rental company Turo to rent their vehicles.
They both use EV trucks. There are a lot of weird parts about the story with Matthew Hamburger guy, okay? it still could be an accident. Like they haven't really figured out what's going on. Now there's also evidence that he had a gunshot, like a self-inflicted, potentially gunshot wound. Like, what does that mean? How does he accidentally shoot himself? Matthew Leifesberger arrives at Trump Tower. Excited. Institution. He's arrived in Las Vegas in a Tesla Cybertruck. He's excited to eat burger at Gordon Ramsay's famous burger institution, also cleverly titled Burger. He's had plans. He's going to put $100 on black. However, he's also brought his weapons with him because Las Vegas, when you go out to Las Vegas, there are a lot of gun ranges that you can go and shoot your gun at. Maybe he's going to hang out with some of his military buddies. He realizes that the fireworks that he brought forth after an electrical circuit failure inside of the Tesla Cybertruck start catching fire. He realizes in that moment that the Tesla Cybertruck has automatically locked him in. Instead of dying to self-immolation, he pulls out his Desert Eagle and kills himself. Or, here's another conspiracy. Matthew Leifesberger gets to Trump Tower, excited for the time off that he has with his buddies. Again, electrical circuit failure causes the fireworks that he brought with him that he was going to explode, and maybe even the Tannerite, and shoot in the Las Vegas desert. Start catching fire. Tesla doors are locked. He's desperately trying to get out of the car, but the car catches fire. In that eruption, the Desert Eagle goes off and actually domes him. Green Beret Matthew Leifesberger, famous for conducting dark money shadow operations and special operations all around the world, fucks over the wrong cartel boss. So the cartel boss kills him, dumps him in the car. They've also figured out how to do Tesla self-driving, Cybertruck self-driving. The Cybertruck self-drives with the dead Matthew Leifesberger in it, and then they detonate it remotely outside of Trump Tower. Okay. Also, yeah, the fireworks and all the guns and stuff, like you might be thinking is weird to bring to Las Vegas, but there is a valid reason for why he might have brought that. Like he might have genuinely, not saying that this is the case, but he might have genuinely brought all of those fireworks and like gas canisters and everything else and like go out in the desert and shoot stuff. Sounds like you're covering this up. Wait, what? How am I covering it up when I'm even like leaning into conspiracy stuff? I think anytime you are transporting explosive material in a Cybertruck, you're making a dangerous gamble. Also, Seth Harp is a veteran who writes extensively on the Rolling Stones, writing a book on this as well. The Fort Bragg murders. At least 44 Fort Bragg soldiers died stateside in 2020. Several of them were homicides. Families want answers, but the army isn't giving any. Fort Bragg is a very weird place, which makes things even a little bit more unique and interesting. Exactly. Why is him being a Trump supporter not surprising? Dude, who isn't a Trump supporter, man? That's why it's not surprising. It's more surprising when someone does something and they're actually like a leftist or whatever, okay? Virtually every mass shooter has been being a Trump supporter or being like overtly right-wing in the act of doing domestic terror is so commonplace. Like we got a female school shooter, man. That happened not that long ago. That happened like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know how long ago, but even though people disagree with me on that and say, well, she had a boyfriend.
As always, when the FBI is involved with any sort of case like this, we ask for help for the public. Anyone with information related to this incident, we encourage you to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov.
People saying stop snitching. No, dude, snitch on this one. I want to know. I want to know what happened. I want to know. Do you not want to know? Notice how they're not offering rewards since McDonald's did not get paid? No, the reason why they're not offering rewards is because no CEO died in the process. No, if the valet driver had died, they still would not have offered rewards, okay? Yeah, rewards are for high profile targets, okay? Like a CEO. But Cybertruck blast suspect was a Rambo type who loved Trump, family says. Active duty Green Beret who was driving a Tesla Cybertruck that blew up outside the Trump International Hotel Las Vegas on New Year's Day was 100% a patriot, his bewildered uncle said Thursday. Was like he was 37 years old, was like a Rambo type, for lack of a better word. Dean loves his burgers, said to The Independent. Dean, whose older brother loves burgers, a father. Roger, himself an Air Force veteran served in Vietnam, said his nephew loved the Army. He used to have all patriotic stuff on Facebook. He was 100% loving the country. Okay, this guy was a certified hog, I think. He continued, he loved Trump, and he was always a very, very patriotic soldier, a patriotic American. One of the reasons he was in special forces for so many years. It wasn't just one tour of duty. Yeah, so he was racist. Wrote a book about the U.S. military spent years recruiting dangerous extremists because they couldn't attract enough soldiers and didn't want to institute a draft. This policy, which was behind many atrocities abroad, is now coming home. I still do think that the guy who went boom boom outside of the Trump, if his fucking family's like saying how patriotic he was on Facebook, I suspect that he says some stuff. Because there's only one way to show how patriotic you are on that website. You know what I mean? Dean loves the burger, said he was aware of the explosion in Vegas, but had not yet been made aware that Matt Livelsberger, how do you say this last name? Livelsberger, as he called him, had been named the culprit of The Independent, contacted him for comment. At first, Dean assumed the explosion had been caused by one of those big lithium batteries that short-circuited or something, he said. He was relieved of the blast, only caused 7 minor injuries and didn't kill anyone else. But he added, the amateurish construction of the explosive device, an array of propane tanks, fireworks, and camping fuel, left him with a slew of additional questions. Matt was a very skilled warrior, and he would be able to overcome, if it was him, if he did this, he would have been able to make a more sophisticated... Dude, his family members are like, nah, dog. He would have been, I'm disappointed in his in his improvisation skills. Like, he would have made a way sicker explosive, dude.